Right here. All right. Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to Survive to Thrive. On Friday, we ended Friday's script and role play session talking about price reduction conversations. And I promised that we would pick up where we left off. So that's what we're going to do today. Now, what I would like to hear from you guys is if you would just raise your digital hand if you have price reduction scripts or questions or strategy that you can share with the group rather than me go through the Hollywood squares and just call on you. I would really like for you to raise your hand and say, I'd like to share. And Sean, thank you. I'm looking for at least four of you. So we need a few more hands in there. All right, Sean, you've got the
I've
spotlight, buddy.
I've got a really this one's a special, maybe not special, but I'm working with a builder. He's not going to make any money on this sale. It's all going to go back to the lender, and it's likely going to be a short sale for the lender. And we got an offer. We couldn't get them up to where he wanted to be at 795. They came at 765, and I was talking to him. I was like, well, if these are going to be short sales, like how do we get the price lower? Because where we're at 825 isn't working. He made a deal with the lender that essentially he'll write a note.
Mhm.
So there's some number that I don't know what it is, that once it goes below that, they're going to do a halvesies. The lender's going to eat half, he's going to owe half. And so he's still really reluctant to drop the price because he's still gonna owe, but I know we're overpriced. And so it's a really hard tactical conversation to have, because it's not just a normal, you know, he's not going to make any money. He's going to owe money when we get done with this. And so it's really hard for me to say, hey, we need to be below 700 or below 800. And you know, it's so I don't know what to do with this one. And he's pretty experienced. He's been building homes in Austin since '92.
Okay, Sean,
So
let me butt in. Sean, let me butt in for a moment, okay? That is
yeah,
a really good conversation for us to have. If it's okay with you, I'm just going to put it to the side for a moment.
sure.
Because guys, and Sean, don't get mad at me. Guys, I want to hear from you. Your price reduction scripts or conversations that you're having with your sellers. This is script and role play, so let's go. Sean, I will get back to you, I promise. Okay, Joanne, go.
So I guess this, it all kind of plays into Sean's conversation as well. But I had a listing appointment that got pushed out a week, and fortunately, there's been more information that's come on the market for me to share with them. So, Sean knows that they're priced too high. The seller doesn't care what Sean knows. They care, about what the data, what you're informing them, the data that you're giving them, and then making sure that you're asking the right questions so that they're making the educated decision. You can't control their decision, but just sharing the data and letting you always say, John, let the data do the heavy lifting. And so if you want to get 700 for this house, but the data is showing us that they're only selling for 690, you know, you decide what do you do with the data? We can't change the data.
Right. That was good. Write that down. You can't change the data. Love that, Joanne. Thank you. And I agree. Let the data do the heavy lifting. Logic makes us think, emotion makes us act. So make sure that you are supporting the conversation with logical information and then bring emotion into the conversation. Brian, let's go.
Well, I mean, I think that conversation leads to well, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, if you don't take this offer and you don't come down to the price, what happens in 30 to 60 days if we're still sitting on the market?
That's right. It's a good question, by the way. Uh, the seller now has to defend their price. And Brian's job at that point right there is just be quiet and let them talk. Okay, Michael, you're up. Let's go.
Okay, cool. So I always like the approach to, and I think you've talked about it too, John, is almost anthropomorphize the market and tell them that the market is actually talking to us, right? And as long as you, I think to make this work, my experience, as long as you can demonstrate to them that we've been coming to the market with our best and the best promotion, the best marketing, and have the data to show the showings and what's happened, we can say, look, the market is talking to us and it's telling us something different. It's telling us we need to be really, I often use an analogy that's almost like drilling a well. If you're going to, in Maine, we drill wells for water. And, if you get down 300 feet, you haven't hit water yet, it means you might start getting damp if you're getting showings, but you're getting some moisture, but you got to go a little deeper, which means we may have to adjust our price a little more till we kind of hit more activity. So that seems to work.
That's right. That's right. So the market's speaking to us. The market speaks in lack of showings and showings with no offers. If you're on the market and you're not getting 2 or 3 showings a week, the market's talking to you. Once you've had 10 showings, you should have an offer. If you had 10 showings and no offers, the market's speaking to you. All right, Sean, let's get back to you. So you've got this seller who is selling their property. He's a builder, contractor, and he's selling a property for less than what he owes on the property. Now, his options are, and anytime I'm talking to somebody who's behind on their mortgage, and Brian, this would be true with the person you met with over the weekend, your options are to just allow the property to go into foreclosure, or to do a deed in lieu of foreclosure. You could do a loan modification, or you could do a short sale. Now, in this particular example, Sean, if he's got the money to bring to the closing table, then it's not a short sale. It's only a short sale if the owner can prove hardship. They have to be able to prove that they cannot keep up with the payments in order to be considered a candidate for a short sale. Now, my conversation with the builder would be, it sucks now, it's going to suck more later.
Yeah.
Just very direct. You got to have good bedside manner. Don't be a jerk, but you got to be very, very direct with people and just let them know, Sean, your situation is not good now. I get it. It's going to be worse later.
I agree. That is the tact I'm going to take with him today when I speak with him.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be super complicated. Remember, simplicity is the ultimate form of sophistication. So when you are in a market, I'm just going to talk unless you guys raise your hand and jump in here, okay? When you are in a market where you have more than 90 days of inventory, you are moving towards a buyer's market. Okay, guys, I'm terrible at multitasking, so let me check this chat out really quick. What do you say if they follow up with, why is it going to be worse? Okay, Jacqueline, good question. This goes back to the data. And your job is to make an observation. This is what I see. What I'm looking for is how many homes are on the market? How does that compare to the market a month ago, 6 months ago, a year ago? Is inventory increasing? What's the average days on market? Is the average days on market going up? Is it more than 90 days? Is it more than 120 days? Is the market moving towards a buyer's market? What's the average list price to sell price ratio? If the average list price to sell price ratio is going down, then the market is that's more data that's telling us that the market is moving towards a buyer's market. All right, so the second part of this is make an observation, make a forecast. So based on the information I'm looking at, here's the forecast. So Jacqueline, here's the answer to your question. Based on the data that we're looking at, we are moving more into a buyer's market. And when you're moving into a buyer's market, you have sellers competing over buyers. Write it down. You have sellers competing over buyers. Now, when you are in a seller's market, you have buyers competing over listings. If you have 3 buyers competing over 1 listing, what happens to the price? It goes up. If you have 3 sellers competing over 1 buyer, what happens to the price? It goes down. It's just an observation and a forecast. All right, so back to what I was saying just a few minutes ago. When you're in a market where the inventory is increasing, then you know that you are in more of a competitive market. Sorry, guys. Dogs just came home and they're nuts. When you are in a market where there's less than 60 days of inventory, I'm going to base the list price or my pricing strategy more on the homes that sold. When the market gets to a place where there's more than 90 days of inventory, I'm going to start looking at the actives more than I look at the solds. Because in order for us to sell our home, we have to beat the competition. Script. I'm coming right to you, Joanne. When you get into a market that's more than 120 days, prices are definitely dropping. All right. When you get to more than 6 months, prices are definitely dropping. And when you get in a market like that, and I would draw this out on paper, okay? 0 to 30 days, 0 to 30 to 60 days, 60 to 90 days, 90 to 120 days, and then it starts to drop. All right. Now, when you're at that place, you got to price ahead of the market. If pricing strategy, if the market value, if your CMA, your comparables tell you that the right price is 520, price it at 500. Get it where it's going, not where it's at. When you price ahead of the market, then you're going to beat the competition. Yeah, you're selling your home for less than you possibly could. All right. However, I promise you, 6 months from now, a year from now, that same property is going to be worth $40,000, $50,000 less than what you sold it for. So did you really give your home away? No. All right, Joanne, talk to me.
Just a quick question about how you're calculating list to sales price ratio. Are you basing it? Because I always look at the history where it went on the market originally. So when it sells and you look at the history of, okay, it's on the market for 600 and sold at 580, but are you going back to its original sales list price
Good
when you're
job.
calculating it?
Good job. So it's sale price compared to original list price. Does that help, Joanne?
Yes. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah, of course. And by the way, you're moving into a market, everybody, where you're going to have listings that sell that were on the market previously with another real estate agent. So don't just look at the listing that you're looking at. Look at the previous listing too. See how many times that home's been on the market. What kind of different prices was it at? In order to be able to determine, again, it's an observation followed by a forecast. This is what I see. Based on what I see, this is what happened. This is what's happening. The third key ingredient to being a pricing expert is the power of persuasion. So it's observation, forecast, persuasion. In order to have the ability to be an expert at the power of persuasion, you have to know this information better than anybody else does. That's being a local economist of choice. You have to have the ability to let the data do the heavy lifting and then ask the right questions, because people are not going to change their mind, but they will make a new decision based on new information. All right, that's a lot of me and not enough of you. So give me your best price reduction script, guys. Come on.
John, this won't be a really neat script per se, but I look at these houses that are on the market, and when you're saying to look back at their history and how many times they've been listed, well, I can look at some listings that have been on for literally years.
Mhm.
And when I don't know these individuals, but I know them enough to see their properties, and they all sit and they all go through multiple realtors. So I feel like, and not to focus on them, but to use them in your conversation and say, you can choose your path. You could be there's different types of people out there. Is this the type of person you want to be? They clearly are not in a rush. And if they are in a rush, they can't get out of their own way. Because that's not the type of person that I am. I'm not looking to work with someone like that. I don't wake up in the morning and say, I want a listing that's going to sit on the market for 2 years.
No, that's right.
Do you? Are you a seller that wants that? Because we can. I'm not the one for you, but you can choose to do that if you want to. Or we can look at successful stories with successful closings.
Great job, Joanne. Good job. Price for sale or price to sell. The other thing that I would do, coming right to you, Jacqueline, the other thing that I would do is I would print a list of all the properties that came off the market when I'm doing a comparable market analysis in order to have a strategic pricing conversation at the listing appointment. And I would show them, these are all the properties that the market rejected. Coming to you, Jacqueline.
Good morning. So we use the competitive market analysis showing what's on the market and how we're competing with them instead of just what the past sales are. We use that a lot. And as long as they didn't buy at the height of the market, we also use the appreciation calculator. So we can show them that they, that the pricing is still going up really slowly. It's a normal market if you take out those couple of years. And then we also show them that their property is appreciated. And then we remind them, like, where can you park your money and make this kind of return on investment? So they start realizing that they didn't mess up by not selling. That really seems to help if they think that they year over year they've actually done, okay with what they purchased. It doesn't work if they bought in the past few years, though, obviously. Nope. And it never would have,
Well, that's true, but you still, first of all, thanks for jumping in here and sharing, because that was really good stuff. I want to learn more about the competitive market analysis, right? It sounds an awful lot like doing a supply and demand analysis and showing your seller in a certain price range, let's say 5 to 550 within a 2 to 3 mile radius of the subject property. Here's how many properties are for sale. This is your competition. This is how many are selling every 30 days. Based on the number of homes that are selling every 30 days, we have 5 months of inventory, we have 6 months of inventory. But that's not the kind of information that's going to move the needle with the seller. What you have to do is put it into words with the seller. In other words, you have to be able to say, there are 30 active listings. That's your competition. 6 are selling every 30 days. To 5 months of inventory. Now, in order for you to sell your home, you have to be one of the 6. There's 30 for sale, and you've got to be one of the 6. In other words, you got to beat the competition. All right, Sean, coming to you.
All right. We're going to do a script.
Go. Want to hear it?
Ring.
Yeah. What? Hello.
John, how are you? It's Sean Fuentes.
I'm
How
good.
was your weekend?
I'm good.
All right. Hey, as you know, Friday we got the best and final, and we couldn't come to terms with this particular buyer. And so I know we had a deep conversation about the lender, the short sale. So you came all the way down to 795. And I don't know if that's your low or not, but we're still at 825. You were willing to accept 795. If we don't go to 795 this week, what do you think will happen in a couple months? Where will the house be in a couple months if we stay at 825?
Thanks, Sean. First of all, your signal broke up a little bit, but I'm pretty sure we got everything that you said. Thank you for jumping in there. My feedback, blah is just as good as blah, blah, blah. Shorten it down. Where does your heart stop? At what point are you not selling your home? We need to get the price to that okay, so what does an offer look like that you would accept? I'd accept blank. Cool. We need to get there today. All right, that's a short version because I want to go to Christopher. I'm glad I paid attention to the chat. Guys, remember, just take yourself off mute and talk to me because I wouldn't have wanted to miss Christopher. All right, Christopher, where you at, buddy? Let's go.
All right, to address what he just said, though, because I used to do this with builders a lot, you also want to address their carry cost and what it takes to hold the home, because they probably have hard money nut that's 10 to 15 a month anyways.
Yep.
So if you're talking about 50, 60 grand, that's 4 or 5 months. They've already been on the market 5 or 6 months. What's another 4 or 5? Let's get ahead of it and do it now. And so I just had this with a condo listing that I have. So mine went a little bit different. I called her up and asked to speak with her in person. We met in person. When we were in person, so John, you're going to be Nicole. So hi, Nicole. So hey, Nicole, thanks for meeting with me. Wanted to touch base, kind of talk about where we're at currently. I know that, it's been a little bit up and down, but let's check out why. Okay. And so I do a competitive market analysis, kind of like what Jackie was saying, but I basically pick the homes that are most like hers. And if they're vacant, I set up tours and I say, hey, are you open to going and seeing what our competition looks like in person? And 9 times out of 10, they are, because they want to know why their house isn't sold. So I show them the homes that aren't also selling, right? They're still in the same struggle we are. And then I gauge, is our house better or worse than that? So Nicole, was our house better and worse than those houses we sold? Obviously, there's a couple that were better, there's a couple that were worse, but check this out. When we look at your list hub showing where people are looking, you've got these thousands of looks on Zillow, thousands of looks on Redfin. You've got all these people responding to getting our emails, and they are not buying. The reason why is because price. We are prettier than some of the other houses, but we're not that much worse off than some of these other houses where we wouldn't move. However, nobody's moving because we are all overpriced. And if you don't believe me, this is where the numbers are. And then we go to our market analysis originally. We go to our market analysis for last month, and then we go to our market analysis for today. Look at how these numbers have trended. Most of the time, they're trending downward. So they support my cause and that we need to go a little bit downward. Now, Nicole, I know it's not an easy thing to hear. Obviously, I'm not in the market of getting less money for myself or for you. I signed on to this because I want to sell a home. I don't collect listings, I sell listings. So that being said, in order for you to get a sale, we have to look at what is it going to take to be better than all these other homes. We can either go through a lengthy process of sprucing up and fixing up wherever it's needed, but you're not going to get the return on your dollar amount. Those are going to average between 60, 80% of retail. So we're not going to make up that number. Or B, we can attack it price forward. Now, you don't have a mortgage on this home, so that's great. Your carry cost is very low. However, in order for you to purchase that next home that you're trying to do, how important is that time for you? Can you sit another 3, 4, 5 months to see what the market does? Because I don't think it's going to do what you want it to do based on these numbers. However, if you want to move quickly and you want to expedite the process, this is where we need to be. And then I give them my price recommendation on where we should be.
All right, Christopher, holy cow.
Sorry.
Don't apologize.
It was quick. My bad.
Don't apologize. Raise your hand if you got value from that. Look at this, Christopher. Look at all those hands going up.
That's good.
So don't apologize, man. My Hollywood squares keep moving, so I keep losing you. Christopher, where are you? Geographically?
I'm right here. I'm still here. Yeah.
No. What market are you in?
Oh, I'm in Austin.
Okay. All right. Have you been on the call before? I'm going to be embarrassed if you say I'm here. Hey, John.
I've been on like 2 or 3, but I've just been as a spectator. Yeah.
Okay. First time stepping up and talking, right?
Yeah.
All right. Don't do that anymore.
All right.
Jump in here and share with us because you got value, right? Michael Wiseman, that was good. Yeah. All right. Hey, all of these recordings go on my YouTube channel. Everybody, make sure you go to my YouTube channel and subscribe. For those of you who are Facebook friends with me, if you don't already know, my Facebook page was hacked about a month ago. So if you're seeing a Facebook page that is talking about anything but real estate, family, golf, it ain't me. All right. That was weird. You guys make it a great day.
See you
You're not
tomorrow.
weird, John. Thank
Thanks,
you.
John.
Bye, y'all.
That was great.
Bye,
Have
everybody.
a great day.
Bye for now.